All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and really dissect the hidden architecture that makes the best digital products feel so effortless. We're talking about the anatomy of a design system.
Have you ever used an app and just thought, wow, this just works? You know, where every single button, every screen, every little interaction just feels right. It all just makes perfect sense no matter what you're doing. Well, I'm here to tell you that is definitely not magic. It is very much by design.
Yep, and that design, it's all governed by something called a design system. This is the real secret sauce, the hidden blueprint that makes sure everything feels cohesive and just seamless.
Okay, so what is a design system really? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like an official rule book for a product. It's this whole set of standards and reusable parts that make sure everything a team builds is consistent, that it can grow, be scalable, and that it's accessible to everyone. It's the one single source of truth for the entire team, from the designers all the way to the developers. And to really wrap our heads around how this all works, we're going to do something kind of cool. We're going to treat it like a living organism. Yeah, we're going to dissect it piece by piece, starting with its basic DNA and working our way all the way up to its most complex behaviors.
All right, first up, let's get right to the core of our organism, the foundations. This is the absolute fundamental DNA. Everything, and I mean everything else, is built right on top of this.
So, these foundations, think of them as the raw ingredients. They're the visual and functional DNA of the design. They're what define the essential look, the feel, even the rhythm of the entire product.
So what are we talking about here? Well, these are things you'd expect, right? The official color palette, the rules for all the text and fonts, the style of the icons. And what's really cool is how they're stored. Often it's as design tokens, which are just tiny, named bits of data. So a color, like say brand blue, is exactly the same everywhere it's used. No guesswork. And this is so important. Foundations also include the accessibility rules to make sure the product works for everyone. Get this part right, and believe me, you have set the stage for success.
Okay, so you've got your foundational rules down. Now what? Well, now you use them to actually build stuff. And that brings us to our next layer, components.
Components are the actual things you see and touch in an app, right? The stuff you click on, tap, and type into. And they're built directly from the foundations we just covered. So that brand blue color, that becomes the color of a button. Those typography rules, they define the text you see on a label. It's all connected.
I mean, you use these things all the time without even thinking about it. Buttons, text boxes, those little info cards, pop-up windows. By making a standard library of all these components, teams don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time they build a new feature. And this is what I find so brilliant about it. It becomes a massive driver of both speed and consistency. It's a total win-win.
Okay, let's recap. We've got our rules, the foundations. We've got our building blocks, the components. So the next level up, the real sophisticated part, is figuring out how to combine those blocks to solve actual user problems. And that, my friends, is where patterns come in.
Now, a pattern isn't just a random jumble of components thrown together. No way. It's more like a thoughtful, reusable recipe for a common interaction. Think of it as the proven, best practice solution that helps a user get something done.
Just think about signing up for a new service. That's a classic pattern, right? It combines text fields, buttons, maybe some help text, all in a very specific order. Same goes for a navigation menu or even the way a success message pops up. These patterns create predictability, and that's what makes an app feel so intuitive.
And here it is, the whole hierarchy laid out perfectly. First, you define the foundations. Those are your rules. Then you build your components. Those are like your Lego bricks. And finally, you arrange those bricks into patterns, which are your blueprints. See how it all builds on itself? It's just such a logical, elegant structure.
Okay, so having all of these amazing parts is awesome. But how do you make sure everyone on the team actually uses them the right way? Well, that brings us to the final and I'd say most critical piece of the puzzle, the thing that holds this whole organism together, the documentation.
And this idea of a single source of truth is just so powerful. Why? Because it completely gets rid of any confusion. The documentation becomes the one place everyone on the team goes to for answers. It's the ultimate authority on how the system is supposed to be used. No more guessing games, no more, well, I thought we did it this way. It's all right there. And this is the crucial part. This manual is what bridges the gap between the world of design and the world of development. that has clear instructions, guidelines on when and how to use things, and even ready-to-go code snippets. This makes sure that the button a designer dreams up is the exact same button a developer actually builds. And that alignment, that's the secret to a truly consistent product.
So, we've done it. We've dissected our organism. We've looked at the DNA, the building blocks, the learned behaviors, and the instruction manual. So when you put all of that back together, what do you actually have?
What you get is not just some static library of files sitting on a server. No, it's a living, breathing ecosystem. It has to grow, it has to adapt, and it evolves right alongside the product and the team. It's totally dynamic.
And that right there is why all of this matters so much. A great design system gives teams the power to build better products and to do it faster. It's what lets a company deliver a high-quality, cohesive experience for its users, even when the product gets huge and the team gets more and more complex. So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. A design system isn't a project you finish and then check off a list. It's a product in its own right, a product that serves the team that's building the main product. It needs constant care, it needs maintenance, and it needs to keep evolving. So if you're thinking about one, the real question is, how will yours evolve? Because it's never, ever truly done.